So hello everybody and welcome back. We just watched a beautiful and inspiring videos from Nepal, and now we travel to India, where we meet Dr. Mahesh Sensgiri with his beautiful and large team. And without further ado, I'm just really looking forward to see what you have prepared for us, Dr. Majesh. So I give the floor to you.
So let's start. Huh. My colleagues, scientists, teachers, students, nature lovers, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all with the Indian hospitality. Namaste for Palityak Vidyalaya, famous school of Mumbai, India's students' workshop on wildlife and forests. We have chosen this subject for students' workshop because our beloved country India is only in the world having almost all types of forest of the world that includes tropical rainforest, semi-evergreen and evergreen forest, dry deciduous and moist deciduous forest, mountain forest, Himalayan broadleaf forest and meadows, mangrove forest, many varieties of grasslands, including savanna and tarai, swamp forest, thorn forest, hot and cold deserts, typical little run of Kutch, and marine greater run of Kutch. India is still rich in wildlife, although due to modernization and expansion of cities, towns, villages, and expansion of agricultural land, we have lost cover of forest in many parts of India. But 70% of Indian public protects wildlife and knows how to coexist with them for generations. India is having 81,000 species of flora, out of which 49,000 species are flora plants, of which 15,000 are endemic to India. In number of species of wildlife, we are having 410 species of mammals, which covers 8.86% of world species of mammals, out of which 89 species are listed as endangered species by Red Database of IUCN. 1,349 species of birds, 472 species of amphibians, out of which 50% are endemic to India. We have 518 species of reptiles, consisting of 279 types of snakes of 28 families, 202 types of lizards, 34 types of turtles and tortoises, and 3 types of crocodiles, namely marsh, Eustachian or saltwater crocodile, and gharial. 877 species are there in our water bodies, out of which 450 species are indigenous to India. Out of 0.9 million species of insects in the world, 59,353 species exist in India of 27 orders, out and 89 species of butterflies and moths are there in India. Respected retired principal of Palityak Vidyalaya Marathi Medium Primary School will explain the purpose and theme of the forest, which is school students' participation in wildlife education Indian way. Deep D. Kondora, 9th standard student of Palityak Vidyalaya ICSE English Medium School, will present overall types of forest and wildlife of India. Other 4 students are 5th standard students of Palityak Vidyalaya Marathi Medium High School. First one is Miss Shreya Petave will explain model of Sanjay Gandhi National Park. She chose this national park because it is the second national park in the world after Nairobi National Park of Kenya, Africa, which is within municipal limits of metropolitan city. It is called Lungs of Mumbai, with area of 225 square kilometers, extending from Film City Goregaon to Borivali National Park and from Vasai Thane Creek up to Yevur village and other side up to Tungareshwar village. It is a unique forest where there is maximum concentration of leopards in the world. one leopard in every 5 square kilometer area. It is a mixture of forest, of grasslands, bamboo, dry deciduous forest, moist deciduous forest, evergreen forest, and mangrove forest near Vasai Thane Creek area up to Yevur village. Kaushik Gavde will explain the Himalayan forest of West and East Himalayas with the example of Dachigang National Park of Jammu and Kashmir state and of Western Himalayas and Namdapha National Park and Tiger Reserve of Arunachal Pradesh state of Eastern Himalayas. Atharva Dhasre will explain his model of Flamingo Bird Sanctuary of Airoli, New Mumbai, and world famous bird heritage site Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve of Assam State, East India. It is a unique grassland with mixed grass and swamps with some wooded forest area in between. One side there is a Brahmaputra river and other side is a mountain and tropical evergreen forest. Water is important source of life. It comes from forest. Without water, no life can survive. It comes mostly from the forest but gets polluted due to the industrialization and other factors. So potable water is becoming scarce and therefore saving of water is very important. Ketan Patil will explain through his model different methods of saving water in farms, deserts, villages, cities, etc. Now, I will show you my contact details where you can contact me, and in case anybody wants to visit India to see wildlife, we are the right people for it. You can go through our website and see the details. We are also management consultant. We can help you to start any type of project in India. With this introduction of students workshop, I hand over to respected retired principal Gare Madam to speak about purpose and theme of workshop. Thanking you all for listening to my talk. Over to respected principal Gare Madam. Please take over.
Namaste. Good morning. I welcome my colleagues, students, scientists, nature lovers, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am very much happy to see that little students of my school, Parle Tilak Vidyalaya Marathi Medium Primary School, which is one of the famous school of Mumbai, India, are showing their love for nature and skills to prepare models of selected protected forest of India. I am retired principal Mrs. Chaya Gade of same school. I started this international wildlife project at the school in the year 2018 when our Dr. Mahesh Sansgiri, who was our ex-student, approached me with proposal to start project, and I immediately accepted it. I give my sincere thanks to management of the school and present principal, respected Divar Madam, for continuing the project. My special thanks to Rival Institute, Vienna, Austria, and European Wilderness Society for giving our students opportunity to represent their models of forest on this international platform. My heartful thanks to respected Dr. Ingrid for taking her valuable time and pen to bring our students to this platform. By interacting with European Wilderness Society, I also give thanks to parents of students. Without their help and support, students would not have prepared models. I feel this is a great opportunity for students during lockdown period of COVID-19 to keep themselves busy and acquire valuable knowledge by attending International Wildlife Conference. Students tried their best to prepare each and every type of major type protected forest through models of our beloved country, India. They represented forests such as dry deciduous forest, moist deciduous forest, evergreen forest, grasslands, swamp forest, mountain and Himalayan forest, and mangrove forest. In their models and also explained all type of forest in India. One student also prepared model to show how to save water, which is important resource which comes from natural forest and important for all type of life on earth, including human. To prepare for this workshop, Students, parents, their friends, neighbors, relatives work hard to collect informations, to design and prepare basic models, to beautify models, etc. Student, myself, and parents had to interact on mobile or laptop, and also by meeting personally by following all the norms of COVID, and also take time to time advi- advice from Dr. Mahesh Sansgiri. Also take number of practices online by video conferencing to be ready for final conference and solve problem and modify presentation to look much better. This is going on since August. When we came to know, we are invited by Rewild Institute, Vienna, Austria, and European Wilderness Society. Represent our work in International Wildlife Conference arranged by them to celebrate wilderness from 16 to 23 October 2020. I am sure to make our student will perform very well in this workshop to make our beloved country, our state Maharashtra, and our school Parle Tilak Vidyalaya to become proud of about it. I wish all the success to our student and organizer for this conference. Now I am handing over to Atharva. Thank you.
Respected scientists, teachers, nature lovers, and friends, I am here to represent my dream projects of Flamingo Bird Sanctuary, Airoli, New Mumbai, located at Airoli, New Mumbai, Maharashtra State, and Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve, located in Assam State. First, I will explain each and every details of these protected areas for nature and wildlife, followed by explaining you models of these prepared by me with help of my parents and friends. Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. Map of Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. History of Kaziranga. During British India, Mary Curzon, wife
Sarva,
of
it's
Lord
visible. Go ahead.
Viceroy, visited Kaziranga in 1904 to see one-horned rhinoceros, but could not see single one. Therefore, she persuaded her husband to protect Kaziranga and not to allow hunting of wild animals. Therefore, Lord Curzon ordered to declare Kaziranga as reserve forest. It was declared reserve forest on 1st June 1905 with area of only 232 square kilometers. Afterwards, in 1908, area extended by 152 square kilometers to make it 384 square kilometers. In 1916, renamed Kaziranga as Kaziranga Game Sanctuary. In 1950, name changed as Kaziranga Wildlife Sanctuary after independence of India. In 1968, upgraded Kaziranga as Kaziranga National Park and area is also extended to 430 square kilometers. In 1985, Kaziranga declared as World Heritage Site by UNESCO for its unique biodiversity or nature environment. In 2006, declared as tiger reserve due to huge high concentration per square kilometer of tigers as compared to any forest of India. Present population of tiger is 118 here in 430 square kilometer of Kaziranga. Flora: 41% tall thickest of elephant grass, 29% open jungle and undulated grassland of alluvial savanna grassland and woodland sugarcane, tiger grass, alluvial and spare grass, 11% short grassland, 8% water bodies consist of Brahmaputra river, lakes, waterholes, swamps, marshlands and wetlands covered with aquatic plants like lotus, water lilies and water hyacinth. 0.6% sand and sand hills, 4% swampland forest, 6.4% mountains with forest. A highway runs between mountain forest and other types of forest. So also Brahmaputra river runs parallel to entire boundary of Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. Main types of plants and trees of mountain forest. Forest is tropical moist, leaves, deciduous and semi-evergreen type. Total types of trees, shrubs and plants about 10,000. Main types. Orchids 500 varieties. Bamboos 46 types. Main trees of mountain forest. Kumbhi, cotton tree, Indian gooseberry, apple, pomegranate, olive, oleander, holong, borpat, jutuli, sam, devasam, sal, nahar, sitachap, belu, mekai, punspar, cinnamon, rhododendron, sandan and laburnum. Fauna. Insects more than 5,000 varieties, out of which 493 varieties of butterflies and moths. Many varieties of scorpions and honeybees found here. Birds. Out of 1,349 varieties of birds found in India, 478 are present here. Out of that, 25 species are globally threatened and 21 are near threatened species. Many of them are laser white fronted goose, bears, pouched duck, black kingfisher, white belly heron, Dalmatian pelican, pot belly pelican, spotted green shank, black belly tern, greater and lesser adjutant stork, and black necked stork. Birds of prey. Eagles, eastern imperial, greater spotted, white-tailed fishing, palace fishing, and grey-headed fishing, lesser kestrel. Vultures, red-headed, Eurasian black, Indian slenderbill, Indian white rum, griffon, and Himalayan griffon. Many varieties of owls and nightjars also present here. Other important birds of Kaziranga: peacock, Bengal florican, swamp francolin, pale-cap pigeon, great Indian and breathed hornbill, Jordan's and marsh warbler, Baya and Prince-Weber, Hodgson's butcherdris, grassbird, black-breasted parrotbill, and rufous vented pinia. Reptiles. 42 types present in Kaziranga. Main types are Gharial in Brahmaputra river and other water bodies, uh, Indian water monitor and common Bengal monitor lizard, Khalsi hill forest or Assam garden lizard, variety of geckos, turtles, tortoise and turtles. Main snake varieties: king cobra, Bengal cobra, common crate, black crate, banded crate, Russell's viper, pit viper, rock python, and world's second largest python after anaconda of Amazon forest of South America, which can grow up to 60 feet long and 1.5 feet great, is reticulated python, which is present in Kaziranga. Mammals. 35 varieties present here, out of which 15 species are endangered and per IUCN Red Data Book. Big mammals: Irrawaddy dolphin and Gangatic dolphin in Brahmaputra River. 7 big mammals of land are Royal Bengal tiger, Asian wild water buffalo, Indian bison or gaur, Asian or Indian wild elephant, one-horned Asian or Indian rhinoceros, northeastern Indian Barasingha or swamp deer and sambar. Here 90% of total one-horned Asian or Indian rhinoceros and 57% of total Asiatic wild water buffaloes present here. As per 2019 census, 2,413 Asian or Indian rhinoceros, 1,666 Asian wild water buffaloes, and 1,940 Asian or Indian wild elephants, and 118 Royal Bengal tigers present here. It is highest concentration of tiger per square kilometer as compared to any other forest of Asia, and Royal Bengal tiger is second biggest tiger in world after Siberian tiger, which can grow with length up to 14 feet and height up to 5.5 feet at shoulder. Others from cat family with good population present here are leopard, clouded leopard, jungle cat, fishing cat, and leopard cat. Other main wild animals are bats including flying fox, Bengal fox, golden jackal, striped hyena, partly colored flying squirrel, black neck hare, very rare hispid hare, wild boar, hawk deer, barking deer on moonjack, large Indian grey mongoose, small Indian mongoose, large and small Indian civet cat. Also, nine varieties of monkeys present here are rhesus monkey, capped langur, golden langur, Assam's Matthew, newly discovered Arunachal Matthew, northern pigtail Matthew, stump-tail Matthew, slow loris, and world's third largest ape after gorilla of Africa and orang-utan of Sumatra and India's only ape Holog gibbon. Also present here is smooth skin otter, Indian as well as Chinese pangolin, Indian hodge badger or bintrong, and Chinese parrot badger. Recently, new discovery of golden tiger was done in this forest of Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve by Mr. Mayuresh Hendre, naturalist and destination manager with luxury cruise ship MV Mahabahu, photographed golden tigers in the banks of Brahmaputra River in Kaziranga Forest on 13th July 2020 during lockdown. Afterwards, many reported presence of beautiful golden tiger. So it is a great discovery of entirely new species of wild animal which is never reported in past. For tourists going to Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve, best season for birds winter from December to January end. This time, lakhs of migratory birds do come to Kaziranga. Photography is very difficult since most of the time forest is under fog. One has to wait till sunrise comes. Flash gun use is strictly prohibited. Forest is thick and therefore wild animals sightings are less. For wild animals, best season is from February to April, that is summer. Till forest closed for visitors for rains, since in Assam rains as well as sunrise is very early because it is located in East India. Patience and silence view more sightings of birds and wild animals. Always keep safe distance so that birds or wild animals are not disturbed. Also, wild animals like rhino, gaur, or Indian bison, wild buffalo, or wild elephant may attack vehicle also if they are disturbed, especially when they are there with their cows. Due to the floods in Brahmaputra River every year, animals run to the mountains to save their lives. Many animals die in these floods and even in road accidents. Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve close in April for visitors when rain starts and reopens on 1st November. Nearest city to go to Kaziranga is Jorhat, which is 96 km away, and Guwahati, capital of Assam state, with airport which is 225 km away. This is my model of Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. There are three main entrance gates. There are three main entrance gates to Kaziranga to this national park. We can make a ride of this national park by boat, by jeep, and also by elephant. The main attraction of Kaziranga National Park is one horn rhinoceros and also Royal Bengal tiger, wild elephant, and wild water buffalo. This is Brahmaputra River runs parallel to entire boundary of Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. This is National Highway runs between in between other types of forest and mountain forest. Now I am going to tell you about Flamingo Bird Sanctuary, the example of mangrove forest. Flamingo Bird Sanctuary, Airoli, New Mumbai. Nearest local train railway station to this sanctuary is either Nahur on Central Railway or Airoli on Trans Harbour Railway. First time in 1987, bird watchers reported few flamingos in Thane Creek. In 1994, first time in November, more than 30,000 laser as well as greater flamingos with chicks arrived in Thane Creek, and therefore entire Thane Creek was declared as protected area for birds. In 2017, due to huge arrival of flamingos, official count was carried out of flamingos by BNHS, and to surprise more than 1 lakh flamingos of both laser as well as greater were present, and therefore boat ride for tourists to see flamingos in Thane Creek start in February 2017 by Mangrove Cell of Forest Department of Maharashtra State at Airoli, Navi Mumbai. Therefore, on 1st August 2017, hence onwards, every year flamingo count is conducted by BNHS when maximum flamingos arrive in winter. I was lucky enough to take part under International Wildlife Project in 2019, that is third year of flamingo count by BNHS. Myself and other students of this project, along with Dr. Mahesh Santagiri, respected retired principal Gade Madam, and teacher Mrs. Chetana Sankhe Madam, went to Seawood Darave at New Mumbai. Site allocated to us for flamingo count, and we successfully completed the count. Therefore, BNHS give me certificate, which has given with the hands of our present principal, respected Diwar Madam. Fauna of Flamingo Bird Sanctuary, Airoli. Out of 18 species of mangroves found in coastal area of Maharashtra state, here 8 species of mangroves found. Therefore, here bird life is rich with total 200 types of birds present. Apart from laser and greater flamingos, main species of birds found here are globally threatened greater spotted and eagle osprey. Other birds of prey present here are white-bellied sea eagle, Brahmani kite, black kite, and Eurasian marsh harrier. This is the video of Honey Creek where we saw lakhs of flamingos. Other main bird species are blue throat, red uh, Avadavet, Indian spot-bellied duck, reddish-eyed duck, laser whistling and great whistling duck, Brahmani duck, pied painted stork, Asian open-bill stork, Eurasian spoonbill, egret, herons, ibis, common red and green shans, spotted red shans, sandpipers, gulls, terns, kingfishers, plovers, red-bottled lapwing, stints, dunlin, godwits, black-winged stilt, curlews, whimbrel, warblers, fantails, bulbuls, house and jungle crow, bee-eaters, Escherichia, shrikes, cormorants, rollers, menas, starlings, Weber, munias, black-necked waterhen, purple swamphen, and parakeets. Among reptiles present here are variety of sea, sea and water snakes, Russell's viper, rat snake, rock python, cobra, and monitor lizard. A variety of butterflies, moths, bees, and insects found here. Among mammals present here are black napier, white boar, smooth spotted otter, small and large Indian grey mongoose, jungle cat, and golden jackal. For tourists, this sanctuary is closed from 1st June to 13th September for rainy season, though it is open from 1st October to 31st May. Best season to see maximum bird species It's from December to March when lakhs of migratory birds, including flamingos, visit here. Birds come here locally from South and North India up to Himalayas in North and other countries as far as Mongolia, Siberia, Africa, Europe, etc. Flamingos, both lesser as well as greater, come here with chicks from Greater Run of Kutch near Bhuj in Gujarat state, as well as few of them from Lake Nakuru, Kenya, in Africa in October end or November and go back for breeding in April end or May. This is my model of flamingo bird sanctuary, the example of mangrove forest. This is Thane Eroli Creek. This is Salt Pan area. This is Mud Flat area. This is Eroli Bridge. This is CNBC boating point. And this is all mangrove forest. Thank you for watching my presentation. Now I am handing over to Ketan Patil to present this workshop.
Thanks for this nice presentation, Atharva. We are very much pleased with your presentation. Now I request to Master Ketan Patil. Ketan Patil, are you here? Can you hear me, Ketan Patil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now start your presentation with the model and poster of saving water in city, village, farm, and forest. Hand over to you. All the best. Thank you, Ketan. Start your presentation.
Thank you. I am showing you model and poster of saving of water city village from forest. Water is limited resources to be conserved in open areas and forests. Rainwater recharge with the groundwater table. Into urbanization and increased population in more areas are occupied by roads and concrete buildings, leaving less space for rainwater to sink them. In rural areas, rainwater quickly flows into river and rise up soon after the rain stops. If rainwater allowed to stay, it can help the recharge water table. Rainwater harvesting provides an option. Conserve the rain stock. Rainwater harvesting is a technique by which rainwater is collected and stored for later uses. Rainwater harvesting helps in increasing the capacity of water. Ma'am,
Yes. What happened, Ketan? Yes, video is not visible. Now I think Deep had joined. So shall we proceed with the Deep presentation?
Yes.
Okay, we will get back to you, Ketan, again. Now I will request to Deep, Master Deep, please start with your presentation. Hand over to Deep.
So I'm going to present my project on the forests of India. So India is a home to many different types of forests, like there is the moist tropical evergreen in the Western Ghats, the tropical moist deciduous in West Bengal, the eastern side of the Western Ghats, tropical dry deciduous spread throughout the country in Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, tropical thorn in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Chandigarh, Haryana, mountain subtropical and temperate in western part of Jammu and Kashmir, and the southwestern Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Then dry temperate in the Himalayan belt, alpine in Jammu and Kashmir, and desert vegetation in Rajasthan. So as you can see, there are many different types of forests in India. However, they are divided into six main types: evergreen forest, deciduous monsoon forest, tropical grasslands, desert vegetation, mangrove forest, and alpine forest, also known as the Himalayan variety. So tropical evergreen forest, this type of vegetation is found in areas not more than 900 meters above the sea level. They receive rainfall more than 250 centimeter, and the temperature ranges between 25 degrees Celsius and 27 degrees Celsius. So as you the vegetation here is really very dense. Hardly any sunlight can reach the ground, because as you can see, there is just a canopy of these dense evergreen trees. So the trees include ebony, mahogany, hardwood trees. So this you can see rubber, etc. In India, most of these forests are found on the western side of the Western Ghats in northeastern states like the Seven Sisters and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They occupy 2.6 lakh hectares of area of the Indian forest. Then the dry deciduous forests. The dry deciduous forests are found in areas having rainfall between 100 and 70 centimeter. These forests are found in the rainier parts of the peninsular plateau and the plains of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. There are open stretches in which teak, sal, peepal, and neem grow. A large part of this region has been cleared for cultivation, and some parts are used for grazing. And common animals found here are the lion, tiger, pig, deer, elephant, and a more variety of birds, lizards, snakes are found here. So these forests are very much exploited in India due to the trees of teak and sal, which is used to make furniture. So this is why large parts of the forest have been cleared in India just for the wood industry. Next is the moist deciduous forest. It is found in areas having rainfall between 200 and 100 centimeter. They exist mostly in the eastern part of the country and northern states along the foothills of Himalayas, Jharkhand, western Orissa, Chhattisgarh, and on the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. So teak is the most dominant species of this forest. Bamboo, sal, shisam, sandalwood, khair, kusum, arjun, mulberry, and are other important commercially important species. So just like dry deciduous forest, these species of trees are very commercially important. So even these forests have been exploited in India quite a lot. Then comes the deciduous monsoon forests. They cover a greater part of India and are found in regions where the rainfall is between 75 and 250 centimeter. It forms about 65.5% of the total area of forest. So you can see they are the most dominant variety of forests in India. Since India is having a monsoon climate, this forest is distributed widely. As you know, India is a tropical monsoon country. It lies below the Tropic of Cancer. So they shed their leaves during dry winter. So these unlike the moist deciduous and evergreen forest shed their leaves once a year, and they are also called tropical deciduous forest. Tropical grassland. This type of vegetation is found in the central parts of the peninsular plateau and border areas of the Thar Desert to the west of Aravalli Hills, where the annual rainfall is between 60 and 75 centimeter. These forests have trees with short trunks, babul, like shisam, babul, and sabhai trees, and different varieties of grass. So you can see stunted growth of trees over here. Like the trees are not closely placed, they are not nucleated. Instead they are dispersed, and between the trees there are quite a lot of dry grass and all. Then comes the mangrove forests. These forests are formed due to tides and are found along the deltas and estuaries of the river that are subjected to tides. The deltas of river Ganga, Godavari, Mahanadi, and Krishna have these forests, and also Brahmaputra. In the Ganga Delta, there are plenty of Sundari trees, and hence the forests are known as Sundarbans. So, Sundarbans are the largest mangrove forests of the world and are found in the Ganga Brahmaputra Delta. The total area of the mangrove forest is 4.4 thousand kilometers square. So you can see how big they are. And they are also popular for the Sundarban tiger, which you all know, the Royal Bengal tiger. These are the Sundari trees. As you can see, there are tube-like roots which they have, and they are quite popular in. They are used in making boats and all. And they are also known as breathing roots because they are placed under the water, and they have some projections above the water which take in oxygen and all. So desert forests, this type of vegetation is found in regions where the annual rainfall is less than 50 centimeter. They are found in Rajasthan's Thar Desert and the adjacent parts of Punjab, Haryana, and Gujarat. The trees which grow here have short, deep roots, thick leaves, and thorns. All these are adaptations so as to survive the dry climate which is prevalent over here. Date palms are common near the oasis. Babul palms and cactus are the most important trees over here. As you can see, this is a babul tree. These are the cactus lantana bushes. And you can see there are like no trees behind. Only there are a few shrubs and all. So the growth is really very stunted over here. Then comes the cold desert of Leha and Ladakh. Unlike the hot deserts of Thar, the temperature is way too low, like minus 30 to minus 70 degrees Celsius in the winters. The elevation is between 4,267 meters to 5,791 meters. They are located in Kinnaur, Himachal Pradesh, which is located in Himachal Pradesh, and of course Leha and Ladakh. Then comes the mountain forests of India. These mountain forests of India are actually found in the Himalayas and all. So they are not uniform throughout. They differ. Like for example, the vegetation changes with altitude. So first comes the between the range of 1,000 and 2,000 meters is the wet temperate evergreen broadleaf forest of oak and chestnut. From 1,500 to 3,000 meters is the temperate forest with conifers, pine, deodar, silver fir, spruce, cedar, etc. Then between 3,000 to 3,600 meters are the temperate forests, grasslands, silver fir, juniper pine, birches, etc. Then comes the main alpine grasslands beyond 3,600 meters. Actually, these are the actual mountain forests above 3,600 meters. So they consist only of alpine grasslands, and then there are no big trees, only mosses and lichens. And above that is the snow cap where there are hardly any trees. So as you can see, the animals should be well adapted. So the animals found here are Kashmir stag, then the spotted deer, which is common, wild sheep, jackrabbit, the Tibetan antelope, yak, snow leopard, a very beautiful animal that the snow leopard is. Then squirrels, the shaggy horn wild ibex, bears, like the Himalayan bear, red panda, sheep, and goats with thick hair. And these are mountain goats. So like their legs are designed in such a way that they can even climb about 80 70 degrees of ascent. So that's their feature. So Indian national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Uh, Shweta ma'am, should I begin with this presentation or should I stop? Because
Now you can begin with this presentation, and now it's 10:45. So I think Shreya will continue after your Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Okay.
okay,
So
yes.
please there. Okay, Shreya, wait for a minute. Deep will continue with Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and then you can start your presentation. We still have 10 minutes in our hand. If then by mistake 11 is over, then you have to stop, Shreya, and then again we will continue. Okay. So hand over to Deep. He will
Yeah.
continue with his Sanjay Gandhi National Park presentation and whatever your Indian national parks. Okay.
So
Hand over to Deep.
thank you. So India has many national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. The popular ones are the Ranthambore, the Sanjay Gandhi National Park, the Corbett National Park, the Kaziranga National Park, then Indira Gandhi National Park and all. And of course, there are other wildlife sanctuaries. So the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. It is located in Mumbai, and it is also known as the lungs of Mumbai because they are like surrounded all by buildings and the booming metropolis Mumbai. So it has ranging forest types. It has dry deciduous from the Film City to Vihar Lake. Then it has moist deciduous from the Vihar to the Tulsi Lake, evergreen from the Tulsi to Tungareshwar up to Yeur village, mangrove forest from the Vasai Creek to the China Creek, mixed forest from the main gate of the Sanjay Gandhi National Park to the Kanheri Caves, and savanna grassland from the Vihar Lake to Ghatkopar. So Sanjay Gandhi National Park is located in Thane and Mumbai, the districts of Maharashtra, and it lies in the northern fringes of suburban Mumbai. The park is nestled in hill ranges of the to the east and the suburb of Borivali to the west. It occupies most of the northern suburbs. To the west lie the townships of Goregaon, Malad, Kandivali, Dahisar, etc. And like there are big projects of Hiranandani and all that, wildlife apartments over there. So to the east lies the townships of Bhandup and Mulund. To the south lies the RA Milk Colony. The northern reaches of the forest lie in the Thane city, and the park has areas surrounding it apart from Thane city are all part of Mumbai. The region is hilly with elevations between 30 meters and 480 meters. The park encompasses two major lakes, the Vihar Lake and the Tulsi Lake, which meet the part of the city's water requirements. And of course, as I said, the park is said to be the lungs of the city as it purifies much of the air pollution of the city. Flora. So the flora of the Sanjay Gandhi National Park is quite varied. Like there are about 20,000 species of different trees and plants, and about 1,000 of them are flowering plants. So here you can see the red flower, which is known as the forest, which is known as the uh, a fire of the forest. And then there are the animals found here, like tiger, the bonnet macaw, Indian hare, barking deer, porcupine, grey langur, striped hyena. Then birds are like woodpeckers, drongos, sunbirds, hornbills, bulbuls, peacocks. Reptiles ranging from crocodiles in the Tulsi and Vihar Lake. Then pythons, there are quite a lot of pythons and cobras, Russell viper, bamboo pit viper, Ceylonese cats, snakes, etc. Spiders are giant wood spiders, signature spiders, and one thing is that it has the highest concentration of leopards. There are about one leopard every 5 square kilometers. Then now over to Shreya, who will present her project on the Sanjay Gandhi National Park and her model as well. So over to you, Shreya.
Yes, Shreya, please welcome and please start with your model of Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Shreya,
Thanks,
can you
Deep.
hear me? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to you. Yes, welcome to you and all the best for your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, Deep, for your detailed information of my model of Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Respected scientists, teacher, nature lovers, and my friends. Now I will explain you model on my recorded video.
Kanheri Caves. Kanheri Caves are a group of caves and rock-cut mountain into a massive basalt. The forest cover in the national park can be divided into 4 categories. Dry forest, mixed forest, evergreen forest, and moist forest. Dry forest start from Sanjay Gandhi National Park to Kanheri Caves. Evergreen forest start from Tulsi Lake to Trungaleshwar and up to Ervur village. Mixed forest and moist forest start from Powai Lake to Flint City. Much of the forest here conform to the southern mixed forest dominated by Kadam, Teak, Karanj, Shisam, Indian coal, tree, bamboo, dates. A park is also home to a small population of leopards. The park has 3 lakes. We have M. Tulsi Lake, the inside the forest, and Powai Lake is outside the park. Tulsi Lake. Tulsi Lake is a freshwater lake in northern Mumbai and supplies part of the city's potable water. Vihar Lake. Vihar Lake is located near Vihar village on the Mithi River. It was considered the largest lake in Mumbai. It is partially meet the drinking water needs of Mumbai region. Powai Lake. Powai Lake, it is an artificial lake situated in the Powai Valley, where a Powai village with a cluster of huts. IIT, one of the premier institution of science and technology in India, is located to the east of lake. Flint City. Flint City, it is an integrated film studio complex situated near this park.
So now we will show a video about saving water from Mr. Ketan. Just a second, it's taking time to load a little bit.
Model and poster of saving of water in city, village, farm and forest. A method of saving water. This is Khadin system to collect water. It is used in dry land such at Rajasthan. Water comes and sumps in rainy season. This is Khadin Dam or dam. Rain field pond behind dam. It hold water for months. It hold water for months. Also recharge groundwater. Groundwater it is not evaporate. It recharges when it can be used for farming and other purpose. Drip irrigation. Drip irrigation farming used in less rainfall area. In this, water falls drop by drop. It gives water directly to pond root. Water is not wasted at all. This is building rooftop in rainy. This is building rooftop in rainy season. Rainwater get collected here. Water goes through pipe. Filter contain side set charcoal and pebble rock layer. It removes impurities from water. Then rot stored to water tank. We fan use water from water tank.
Thanks a lot, madam, for this timely help. We will like to proceed in our presentation, and we are very much pleased with this golden chance here. Now we will proceed to our next participant, Deep Tikondwar. He will just proceed with his presentation, that is model of Namdapha National Park and Tiger Reserve in state Arunachal Pradesh, Dachigam National Park in state of Jammu and Kashmir. Deep will just explain the details, and model is explained by Master Kaushik Gowde. Now hand over to Master Deep. Please start your presentation with Namdapha National Park. Thank you, Deep.
Yeah.
Thank you. All the best.
Yes.
Hand over to you, Deep.
Yeah. Can you just tell me if you can see my presentation?
Yes.
No, it's not visible.
Not visible. Okay.
Yes, screen is not visible.
Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I will just yeah. So now I'm going to tell you about the Run of Kutch. Well, Run of Kutch is located in the state of Gujarat and some parts of Rajasthan, and then it continues into Pakistan. It is popular for its white sands, and it is a very popular destination. So the Run of Kutch is a seasonal salt marsh in the Thar Desert and the Kutch district of Gujarat. It is about 7,500 kilometers square, and in the area is reputed to be one of the largest salt deserts in the world. The area is inhabited by the Kutchi people. The Great Run of Kutch, along with the Little Run of Kutch and the Bani grasslands on its southern edge, is situated in the district of Kutch and comprises some 30,000 square kilometers between the Gulf of Kutch and the mouth of Indus River in southern Pakistan. The Little Run of Kutch is home to the India. Is located south of the Great Run of Kutch and is home to the Indian wild ass Khur, which is locally known as the Khur. The sanctuary also is home to many species of migratory birds such as the Saurus crane, the rare Saurus crane, then the ducks, the Dalmatian pelican, flamingos, as well as land birds like the sandgrouse, francolin, and the very rare Indian bustard. It is the home to other mammals such as Indian wolf, desert fox, nilgai. So this is the flora of the run of the Kutch, both greater and little. Sorry. This is the great Indian bustard over here, which you can see is the one of the most rare birds in India. It is found in only in India, the bustard of India, and other bustards in Australia. This over here is the camel. The camels in run of Kutch are single humped, unlike the Bactrian camel, which is double humped. This is the rare wild lass, which lives in lesser as well as greater run of Kutch. There are also many black cobras located, or black desert cobras located over here, and also this hyena, which has a sort of different kind of projecting hair on its back, which differentiates it from other hyenas living in and around India. So now I'm going to tell you about the Dachigam National Park. It is located about 22 kilometers from Srinagar, Kashmir, in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Its area is about 141 square kilometers, and the main attractions over here are the Kashmir stag, Himalayan black bear, markhor, ibex, and other exotic birds. It was declared as a sanctuary by state order in 1951 and was upgraded to a national park on 4th February 1981 by the government of Jammu and Kashmir. The bird viewing done here is generally from March to May. So the topography, the Dachigam National Park is located in the Zabarwan range of the western Himalayas. The variation in altitude is vast, ranging from 5,500 feet to 14,000 feet above the mean sea level. Due to this vast variation, the park is very clearly demarcated into an uneven region. The terrain ranges from gently sloping grasslands to sharp rocky outcrops. Part of the park lies above the tree line, and this area displays its own kind of natural beauty with bare rocks, mountains, and crevices. So the fauna here found here is the hangul, the very popular hangul, the markhor, the musk deer, the marmot, the snow leopard, the ibex, the Himalayan black bear. Then the birds found here is the black bulbul, Indian wagtail, other wagtail, then Kashmiri flycatcher, woodpecker, flora. The mountainsides below the tree line are heavily wooded. Most of this coniferous forest consists of broadleaf species. Interspersed between these are alpine pastures, meadows, waterfalls, and scrub region vegetation with deep gullies, locally known as nars, running down the mountain face. Most of the grasslands and meadows, except in harsh winters, are covered with brightly colored flowers. Located high among its interior is the Marsar Lake, from which flows the Dagwan River. The river flows all the way down to and past the lower region, where it runs along the only proper road in the park and is also famous for its fish population. The Namdappa National Park. The Namdappa National Park is a 1,985 kilometer square large protected area in the Arunachal Pradesh of Northeast India with more than 1,000 floral and 1,400 faunal species. It is a biodiversity hotspot in the eastern Himalayas. The national park harbors the northernmost lowland evergreen forest in the world at 27-degree latitude. So as you can see, that evergreen rainforests are generally found in the torrid belt, which is located 0 degrees latitude to 5 degrees latitude north and south of the equator. But Namdappa National Park is an evergreen forest which is located at 27 degrees north. So that is about 22 degrees deviation. So you can see that it is really very different and amazing. It also harbors extensive dipterocarp forest comprising the northwestern parts of Mizoram, Manipur, Kachin Rain forest ecoregion, It is the fourth largest national park in India. So the word Nam means water and Dham means origin. So the Namdappa Forest. It has about 10 species of earthworms, 5 of leeches, 430 of insects, 140 of butterflies and moths, 76 of fishes, 25 of amphibians, 50 of reptiles, birds 453, then 96 species of mammals. So the sum total about 1,285 species are found here of different animals. And another important thing is it is the only national park where all big cats are found. Like the snow leopard, mountain leopard, tiger, and leopard. So now I request Kaushik Gaude to present his project on Namdappa as well as the Dachigam National Park. Thank you.
Kaushik. Kaushik Gaude. Master Kaushik Gaude will now present his model of Namdappa National Park and Tiger Reserve in state of Arunachal Pradesh, Dachigam National Park in state of Jammu and Kashmir. I will request to Master Kaushik Gaude, please start your presentation.
Thank you, Deep, for your details. Today I am going to inform you about my model of Nandappa National Park and Tiger Reserve, which is located in Arunachal Pradesh state. And second is Dachigam National Park, which is located in Jammu and Kashmir state. Respected scientists, teachers, nature lovers, and my dear friends, now I will explain you my model on my recorded video.
Yes, Kaushik, your screen is visible. Very good. Audio has stopped now. Am I audible, Kaushik? Kaushik?
Nandappa National Park, which is located in Dhapabam range. It is highest point. Nandappa River, which is flow down and down. Noha Dehing River, which is different sightseeing. Highland Camp, Kamla Valley Camp, Lake View. Nandappa National Park, which is located in Arunachal Pradesh state, and Nandappa National Park, which is covered tiger evergreen forest base of tempered broadleaf and mixed forest in middle of eastern Himalayas. Dachigam National Park, which is covered Sindh Valley. Dachigam National Park, which is classified Upper Dachigam and Lower Dachigam. Dachigam National Park, which is located in Jammu and Kashmir state.
Thank you very much, Kaushik. I think this is the end of your presentation. Kaushik, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. And thanks to Wilder European Wilderness Society for this great opportunity. I will like to thank Dr. Mahesh Sanjgiri, who has started this project in India. Just because of this and his presentation, with the great help of Dr. Sanjgiri, he has implemented his project in Parle Tilak Vidyalaya, one of the reputed school in India. This golden opportunity is just possible because of Dr. Chaya Gade's great efforts. She is the ex-principal of Parle Tilak Vidyalaya, Marathi medium primary section. She has taken a great effort. She is the pillar and pioneer of this project since 2018. So I will like to give a very much thanks to Mrs. Chaya Gade, Dr. Mahesh Sanjgiri, who have started this project and have given the golden opportunity to our student. And I am very proud to be this golden chance. We are representative of our India, and we are presenting how our Indian students are presenting their study in this school students participation in wildlife education Indian way. I know how much efforts you have taken and Gade madam have taken, but today we got the fruitful result for this effort. So now I will like to conclude my session and I will like to hand over to Dr. Sanjgiri for any question answers. We have 10 minutes in our hand. Please write your question in chat box or you can just raise your hand for question answers. Dr. Sanjgiri will answer your question, or time doesn't allow, please write in chat box. We will get back to you through email even after our conference. So I will hand over to Dr. Sanjgiri, and thanks a lot for this all presentation makes successful. Thanks to European Wilderness Society. And now I will hand over to Dr. Sanjgiri. Thank you, doctor, and please take the stage. Yeah. Proceed.
Any
yes,
question?
Gade madam. Do you have any queries? Yes, Dr. Sanjgiri, please start with your question answers. If anyone has
any questions, I can answer it, or my students also can answer, like Deep.
Hello, and thank you again for your amazing presentations. We really enjoyed it. We were just discussing with my colleague Timothy that we wouldn't be able to make such beautiful models ourselves. So great job for your children. Really impressive, truly. And I already have a question for you, Dr. Sanjgiri. So how did you choose exactly this school out of all the schools in India?
This school is my school. I am an ex-student of same school, number one. Number one, if you ask anybody in Mumbai, it is a very famous school of Mumbai, India. And most of the students come to the national and international level when they grow up and college. Most of the Polytechnic Vidyalaya students go as a doctors or IIT students or scientists like me, and they shine in the world. That's why I chosen this school. Main purpose is it is my school.
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah, thank you. We can truly see that the level of knowledge of these children is really, really high. So I'm very glad that they get the best education they can. We have another question in chat, so I'm just going to read it to you.
Right.
How important do you think it is to teach children about nature, and what impact does it have on their future?
Right. Students are our future generations. And as you, all of you are aware that nowadays, due to modernization, wars, and so many things, nature getting destroyed. And they are our future. Unless they are made aware of protecting nature and wildlife of this small age, when they grow up, they will grow up by thinking that rather than wasting our time in a different type of conflicts in the world, it is our duty as a human to save the world first and then solve other problems. And that's why I targeted small children, because at this age, if you keep in mind about nature and like me also, when I got this hobby right from my childhood. So from this age, only if we implement in their mind, then they will grown up as a good citizens of, I will not say my country, world, and we will try to save this our mother earth. That is my aim.
That is very true. I can't agree more. True. Was there another question in the chat?
Any question for students? Deep can answer it.
We also want to know, it's really interesting, the corona situation all around the world, and we're just technical question, how did corona affect your school? Are you all doing the distance learning?
Right. Our schools have not started in Mumbai yet. Whatever schools are doing is online. For example, Deep today and yesterday also attended his online exam of his Palitech Vidyalaya ICEC. He is of course from English medium, PT Palitech Vidyalaya English medium school. He attended. Today he is given chemistry paper in the morning, and then he came to our conference. He has not left his studies to make this conference attendance. He just joined late because of the chemistry exam paper he was having in the morning online. So schools not yet started. All that, even those small children, they are attending online. Of course, they are not from English medium, local Marathi medium, but online teaching is on. But schools yet not started here.
Thank you, Deep, for making time to attend our conference. Then it must have been a really stressful day for you.
Actually, like I was very excited to attend the conference. So I had made up my mind, I will complete my paper before time and come in early. So actually the chemistry paper was for 2 hours. I completed it in an hour and tried to attend the conference. Of course, the teachers did not allow, but still.
Thank you, Deep. It's a very great example from you. At 10:35, you have joined, and attentively you have taken handover. Thanks a lot, Deep. And all the best for your future.
Thank you.
So we also have a question for students. So I guess you said that Deep can answer it. So how do you enjoy this nature project, and how do you think it will help you in the future?
So like I had taken this up as an hobby, that like it was not so serious. I had just taken it as an hobby, but now it's a serious matter. Like I'm reading through books, through newsletters and all about nature. First it was all only hobby. So yeah, that's great. And second thing about how will I implement this? So as Sansgiri sir rightly said, we are the future generation of the world, and it's our job to keep it as it is now, right? So yeah.
That's really great. Thank you. I'm trying to see if we have any more questions, but it seems that we're all out of them. So as you said, people can still contact you via email, right?
Yeah. I've given already details in my today's talk. I've shown my slide of my detailed contact.
Okay, you can also put your email into the chat so that other people can contact you directly.
Yes, no problem. And I look forward to have a collaboration with a suitable organization, because after COVID-19, I am planning, which I already planned positively, to start a international level technical management wildlife library in Mumbai, which will give knowledge to anybody and will collect knowledge from all over the world and exchange that. So we are looking forward to have a proper collaboration to start.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, this is definitely a great place to search for the colleagues. So if anyone if anyone is interested, of course, contact Dr. Zanzgiri and we will share his contact details as well. And well, I can only thank you so much again to you and to your team for attending in the Wilderness Week. It was really lovely to see you here and to hear your great talks. And we wish you all the best luck with your project and all the best luck for your children and for your school.
Thank you very much. And we are also in the research field also. There also we can collaborate if anybody wants to do research in India.
Thanks, Dr. Sanjgiri.
Yeah. Thank you, madam, for providing us a platform, especially to Rewild Institute and European Wilderness Society, so that our students came to know to the world and their capabilities of saving nature.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Mahesh sir.
Thanks a lot. We will never forget this golden opportunity.